explain to our audience how you believe the law of attraction works.
Well, I think that everything you think and everything you speak goes out from you into the universe and comes back to you multiplied. It's almost as though the universe is listening to everything you say and everything you think and saying, oh, that's what they want. But most of the time, we are talking very negatively about ourselves. We talk about how awful we are, we're not good enough, we can't get this, we can't get that. How can the universe bring you anything good if that's the way you're talking?
Yeah, we see that in the film, You Can Heal Your Life. But, you know, and everybody think about this on the way to work or on the way to do whatever you do during the day. How many negative things the negative tape that's playing in your head all day long about yourself? I can't do that, I shouldn't do that, I'm too fat, oh, look at my thighs, oh my God.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like to teach people to love themselves, just to love and adore who you are. Look in the mirror and say your name. Say, Louise, I love you, I really, really love you. And when you can do that, your life is really going to flow. Because most of the time, we're always talking about what we don't want. So get this thing, I love life, and life loves me, and I love myself, and I love this, and I'm grateful for everything.
Does that work even if you're not in vibration with that? Does that work if you really aren't loving life so much?
That's
I'm
true.
thinking, don't you have to be in alignment?
Yes, but you have to get there. And I think of affirmations as like planting seeds. You put the seed in the ground, and you don't have the flower in one day. You put the seed in the ground, you water it and make sure the soil is good and there's no weeds around it, and give it a chance to grow. You say, I love you. And it works, but sometimes you have to give it a little time.
Okay, Martha, why does it work? I was mentioning in this month's O magazine, it's the one with me holding the cup, February edition, we have something called the Love List. And this woman, Alice, had done this list and then realized years later that she had exactly the man that she had written on her list. Why does that work, and why does sometimes it doesn't work? Because after that, my friend Gail, you know Gail goes, I guess I need to make me a list.
And she does.
And she does.
She does, but here's the thing. There are two ways you can go at making the list. The first way is what I call the shallow way. It comes from our fears and for our grasping, and I want a man to make me happy. I want a man to make me secure. It's very fear-based. And I want a man who's happy, handsome, so he'll look good to other people. That I call the shallows. Lists that you make in the shallows, they just don't work. You have to go to some part of your consciousness I call the core of peace.
Yes.
And when you're there, see, Alice had...
Yeah, in the magazine, we have a diagram of the shallows and the core piece. There it is, right there.
So Alice had lost a husband to death. She'd lost one to divorce. She'd had numerous dating heartbreaks, and she had given up her attachment to needing a man. So when she made that list, she was completely content with her life as it is, no resistance to life now, and completely confident that that list really did describe her ideal mate. Then she dropped it and let it go, and that's what makes it come true.
Okay, so if you're asking in the shallows...
Nothing really happens.
It doesn't? So what is the ring of fire?
The ring of fire is what you have to go through to get from your shallow existence to your core of peace. Like I had a child diagnosed with Down syndrome when I was a PhD candidate at Harvard, and it was a very late diagnosis. Now, everything on the shallows said, have a therapeutic abortion. But it was the first time, I was 25, the first time I felt my core of peace say, no, I want this experience. I want it. And so I didn't have the abortion, and my mind was going crazy on the shallows, but inside me, my core of peace said, this baby will teach you how to be happy. And that's exactly what happened. So what I went through after the diagnosis, but before I became happy with it, was the burning up of all my beliefs as a Harvard PhD candidate.
So people who, say, people who say, I want $1 million, or I want a new house, or I want a certain car, if that wanting and those thoughts are in what you call the shallows, doesn't work.
Right. I mean, the classic example is King Midas. He thought he wanted everything he touched to turn to gold. Turns out that his wife and his child and his bed all became metal. So his core of peace didn't want that at all. And that myth is about teaching us not to grasp for things in the shallows, because if they come true from there, they're not good for us. In his core of peace, what he wanted was love. And that, if he'd gone there and made a list, he would have had love and gold and everything.
Cheryl, you were saying?
Yeah, I just want to sort of add a different perspective, too, in that the law of attraction is really about the evolution of consciousness. You know, as we raise our level of consciousness, which is the only reason we're here.
What do you mean by raise our level of consciousness for the people who are...
Evolve as spiritual beings. You know, we didn't come here to, like, buy SUVs and get nice jeans, and we all know that, by the way. I mean, every human being
We
I
all
talk
do
to
know
knows
that, don't we?
Although I do have to say, your shoes are pretty hot.
I was just going to say, it's nice if you can wear good shoes in the meantime. Yeah. But I understand that they, you know, shoes have their place.
Yeah, they have their. I mean, we're human beings on Earth having a physical experience, so let's just own that as well. But when I talk about raising our level of consciousness, I talk about investing in our own personal development, our emotional healing, our physical healing. You know, raising our level of consciousness so that we're not just consumed by what we get, which is simply a stage on the spiritual journey, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that. But raising our consciousness
It's a what,
beyond
Martha?
It's a byproduct. You are so at your core of peace that when you say, I want a bubble blower, you get one from Tiffany's.
I
That's
know.
a byproduct of being Oprah.
That's your level. Tiffany is your level.
Is it? I know.
Dime store.
Let me
Not
just tell you,
anymore.
I'm so moved by. I mean, I keep a gratitude journal, and I, you know, try to do all the work. And that bubble blower now is like right in my bath. It's the first thing I see when I get up in the morning because it's I call it my bubble miracle blower because it makes me reinforces my belief in miracles.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Back in a moment. Coming up, a year and a half ago, she says she was fat, broke, and miserable. Now she's happier than ever. How'd she do it? Next. But first, here's some letters I got from O Magazine readers about Martha Beck's love list.
I'm Erin from Kansas, and Martha Beck's The Love List in the February issue almost made me fall out of my chair. In December 2006, I made a detailed list of what I wanted in a life partner. I included everything from hairstyle and hobbies to spirituality, health, and raising children. Less than 2 months later, I met my now wonderful boyfriend of 1 year. He is absolutely everything above and beyond what I had listed.
I'm Heather from Maryland, and I highly recommend that everyone create their own love list. In 2002, I folded my list and put it away in my drawer. And later that year, I met my future husband, Greg. In 2006, he proposed, and a few months later, I came across my list, and there were the qualities of my husband. Every time I read my list, I smile knowing I ordered my husband from the universe.
8 years ago, I wrote a love list. I never threw it away. Did I get what I wanted on my list right away? No. But I kept learning, not settling, and growing as a person. And when I found my list a year and a half ago, buried in a pile of old receipts, I realized that Will, my husband, was all of the things I had asked for. Do I believe in the power of a list? A little. But I also believe in the power of me, and I worked hard to find healthy love. That's living my best life. Yay me! Melissa from Minnesota.